Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes on the private server Everlasting. We're with Silver Phoenix, our martial arts scrapper. We have just over a million XP left to go to get to level 40, and we have 22.7 million influence, and we are standing outside this building because we are on a story arc. So in our last mission, for this particular one, 2 episodes ago, we found out that Nemesis had been shipping weapons through a warehouse, and our contact, which I didn't show this on screen, told us that he sent the code. It was a coded manifest. He sent the code to a woman here works in this office, and she just called him up in a panic and said she's in trouble. So my guess is the Nemesis soldiers are coming here to steal their ledger back and probably torture her or hurt her because she cracked their code. Now, why she's in this is an old government office. Maybe they kidnapped her and brought her here. I don't know. I thought this was her office, but I guess not. All right, Nemesis, you guys are mine. Oh, I need to rearrange these inspirations. Okay. That's what I want. We'll put that there and that there. Okay, we'll leave it like that. And let's see, no sniper and no lieutenant. Wow. That lucky hit me. This guy's still alive? I thought I had him beat. Okay. Let's see what's over here. Nothing there. This would be a good place to hide a captive, but there's almost never anybody in that room. There's an elevator. Okay, so my guess is she'll be on another floor, but this is defeat all. So you gotta make sure we've defeated everybody. Alright, and move on to floor 2. Gotta remember, this is Nemesis, so you gotta keep an eye out for guys in the distance because they could be snipers. Yeah, these Jaegers seem to be very accurate. Let's see, what chance did he have to hit me? 21% chance. So that means he has a 55 by default, something like that. If I have almost 33 and he has almost 22%. Not sure which way I want to go here. And there's another elevator. But we gotta clear this level, so I'll go back. Sometimes, I have to say, sometimes the mission instructions and like the story and what they tell you have to do are not a perfect match. For example, this is a kidnapping victim and we're trying to rescue her, so why would we have to defeat all? Right? I mean, that just seems like that's extraneous. The goal should be to save the kidnapped victim, right? And if you do that, you've succeeded. Why do you have to defeat all the Nemesis? If you've saved her, you've saved her. So here she is, but there's another elevator that I'm going to have to go down over here, even though I'm going to save her right now. Right? Okay. This guy first, and then the lieutenant. Take him down. Could we knock that guy down? And now we're going to pound the lieutenant. He's done. And we've saved her. So I gotta take her out. Hit the ledgers. Help me get them back. Ah, okay. I'm gonna have to come back and fight these guys, I bet, right? I don't want her to get hurt. No, she should be alright. Okay, let's take her with me. Oh, and there is an ambush, which isn't gonna get you guys anywhere. Yeah, when there's ambushes, it's always a good idea to have some extra endurance and health inspirations, as you saw in, did they come from in here? Surely there's a spawn point in an enclosed room. Will you get out of the way? As you saw, there was an earlier, like 100 episodes ago, where I had saved somebody, and then like there were wave after wave of ambush, and I had used all of my inspirations to defeat the boss, and then I had no endurance left to fight the ambush. So if you suspect there might be an ambush, it's a good idea to try and save at least a couple of heal and an endurance or two. Let's get her where she needs to go. I'll worry about coming back and defeating these guys later. So now here's the thing with Nemesis, this guy's on a patrol. Why not put your lieutenants with the long range as your patrollers? Seems like that would make the most sense. But he's just a regular grenadier. Okay. Coming with me, honey? Oh, so she hid it in the garbage. Thanks, Silver Phoenix. I think these ledgers will surprise you. Are you going to keep following me? Or not? Apparently not. Okay, good. Then she's not in any danger. We can go defeat everybody. Nobody up here. Nobody in there. Okay. Gotta look over on this side. Anybody here? No. Alright. So now we head over. One of the other things I noticed about Pretoria is a lot of the maps are physically exactly the same in terms of the, like, where the different staircases and walls and beams and stuff are, but they reskin them with different tile sets, different textures and stuff, and it makes it feel like a whole different map, even though it absolutely is not a whole different map. I really love the Nemesis costumes. I think they look really cool. Alright, completed that mission. Still haven't gotten an enhancement. My gosh, it's like at least 4 or 5 missions in a row with no enhancements. I mean, this was a story arc drop, so it's mandatory. But I don't have any other enhancements. That's really weird. I wonder if I'm bugged in some way. I mean, it doesn't really matter, except that it costs you influence because you can sell the enhancements for influence. Not that we need it. Okay. He says, Lisa's at home, thanks to you. Her decryption of that ledger was very interesting. It looks like the Nemesis armies have been bringing in shipments from Europe for a while. The entry that really worries me is the last one, the prototype. It could be anything, a new weapon, something, some new armor, anything. There's a lot of debate about whether or not the armies of Nemesis are being led by Nemesis himself or a copycat. Finding a new prototype of Nemesis technology might answer these questions for good. So, whoops, I didn't read the mission text. He says, according to that ledger that you found, the Nemesis armies have been importing their shipments through a number of front companies. If we can figure out which one was the final destination, we might know what's going on. So, we're going to investigate the Love West trading company. My guess is this will be like the Tsu arc, where there will be like 4 or 5 trading companies in a row where we'll have to just investigate each one, and which is fine until we find the right one, you know. Which of course will be the last one in the sequence, because this is a story arc, right? So they're going to want it to be suspenseful, and they're going to want it to climax at the end, not the beginning, and so forth. So you're not going to randomly walk into the correct warehouse first, which is fine. It's all scripted. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to the trading company, which is about 800 yards away, so 6 or 7 hops, I guess. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5 hops. Alright. In we go. And so now that I have a loot, I think strategy against the elite boss might not be stacking Lux, but having some extra heals just in case. I don't still have that thing running, do I? No, I just want to make sure I didn't have the wedding ring buff running. The idea being that in the unfortunate chance that they get through, oh boy. Oh, this is an automaton. Interesting. Purple to me. Oh, it's a +3 lieutenant. Wow. Man, look at that. It gave me 6,000 XP. So if you look at the XP we need to level, we need about 1 million. You can figure out how many lieutenants would we have to defeat, right? About 150, 140, something like that. Anyway, against elite bosses, I think I'll be better off popping Elude, which near floors them, and then having some extra heals. We'll just have to see how it goes. Rather than stacking multiple Lux on top of Elude, which you really don't absolutely need. So this is where the Nemesis has these fembots, kind of. If you ever watched the old $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman TV show from the 70s, which my sister and I, gosh, we were talking about it, and we actually showed the kids some footage on YouTube, my sister's nephews, and they thought it was really funny. They're kids, they're young. The one kid actually kind of liked it. You know, the Bionic Woman and the $6 Million Man with Lee Majors and what's her name, Lindsay Wagner. And in that, and so they were cyborgs basically, right? They had their right arm and both legs were robotic, so they could super jump, and they could, they were strong. And then she had a bionic ear, and so she had super hearing. And he had a bionic eye, so he had super vision, like telescopic vision. And so they were almost like superheroes. It was kind of cool. I liked the show when I was a kid. But one of the things is they used to have this one villain group would make almost exact replicate copies of women, like the secretary in the office and stuff, but they were robots. and they were called fembots. And that's kind of what these things remind. They even had male fembots. They still called them fembots. But that's kind of what this reminds me of, right? They look like a businessman, but underneath they're some sort of a robot, which is kind of cool. And this is sort of a throwback to Silver Age stuff, when a lot of times in the Silver Age, villains would like make robots that look like other exact copies of other people. So you would think that like Superman had turned into a villain, and it turned out that Lex Luthor had made a Superman robot that was exactly like Superman in almost every way, except like it gave itself away in some manner, and then Superman would come in at the end and be like, no, that's not me, it's a robot. And so since Nemesis does owe his lineage, I think, conceptually to a lot of those Silver Age types of characters, like Doctor Doom from the Silver Age and Lex Luthor from the Silver Age and that sort of thing, I think they created these automatons and stuff for that same like Silver Agey vibe, which they do have. It's really cool. And it's very clear that the people who made this game, they had a love of comic books and superheroes, and they knew enough about it. I don't think they quite got the genre the way the people who made up Champions, the board game, the role-playing game, not the online game, but the pen and paper game. Those guys, Steve Peterson and George McDonald, they understood the superhero genre, I think, better than anyone, including people who work in the superhero comics and stuff. Steve Peterson and George McDonald just got superheroes and the genre, at least in the Bronze Age and the Silver Age. And I feel like the guys who did this game don't quite get them as well, but they're close. And I did that too early. I wasn't close enough and I missed the AoE. They were outside the AoE range. Dragon's Tail. Oh well. Now there are lots of things you do in the game that aren't classical superhero things, but there are tons of things you do that are. Right, like saving somebody who's getting mugged on the street, which you saw me do a lot of in the early levels. It's sort of a shame that that kind of goes away after you get past like King's Row. Most of the people getting mugged on the street, having their purses and wallets stolen, are in like Atlas Park and King's Row, mostly Atlas Park, and it's a super fun feeling to help them when you're a level 6 hero, but I really wish I could do that with this character at level 36 or 46 also. Which is why sometimes when I'm in those zones and I'm just super jumping around and not recording, I do stop and save people who are being mugged. It's just like, I'm a superhero, you're not gonna commit crimes in front of me. Okay, I hear a glowy. Where is it? Right there. But we're going to defeat these guys first. It's interesting, the automatons are here with no clue, no comment about them being automatons. You'd think they would have given me a clue or something. First time I defeated one, you know? I don't know. So let's search the filing cabinet. And now we got a clue. Nemesis automaton. So there's the clue. Okay, they should have done that earlier. Though the employees of Love West Trading looked completely human, they were in fact mechanical automatons. And the files are empty. So they knew we were coming. Alright. So yeah, instead of fembots, these guys were nembots, I guess. So we're going to call our contact. And he says, Love West was filled with killer robots. You know, Nemesis used to use robotic duplicates to replace important people in business or politics, just like the fembots guys. Their minds weren't that sophisticated, but they could pass for human for a while. They were key to his 1946 attempt to take over America. Either this copycat is good, or we're dealing with the true Nemesis himself. Alright, the next mission is, I've got a lead on that Nemesis prototype we're searching for. According to my sources, it seems like that prototype was sent to a Nemesis shell corporation called Gordonless Imports. Gordonless owns a lot of warehouses, though. We need to check them out. Alright, so we gotta go to their main office and see which warehouse is the right warehouse. Did I get any enhancements? Oh, I finally got some enhancement drops. Okay, I guess I'm not bugged. Just coincidence. It just felt really weird to go through so many missions. Sorry about that, guys. I was just scratching my eye. To go through so many missions with no enhancements is very unusual at this level. But I guess it was just coincidence. How many reward merits do I have now? Let's see. I'm going to need 600. I got 238 for the second and final scrapper set. So that's going to come in probably around level 50 because I don't have anywhere near enough reward merits to buy the different ones. Not sure which power I'm going to put it into. Possibly Storm Kick or Eagle's Claw. I'm thinking maybe Storm Kick because I use that a little more frequently than Eagle's Claw. But we'll just have to see. Yeah, so at this point, I guess theoretically, at this point, if we look, Eagle's Claw has all 6 slots and so does Storm Kick, so those guys could both take level 40 enhancement sets now. Like Thunder Kick has, you know. Those are the only ones. I don't really think enhancement sets belong in any of the others yet. The defense powers, yeah, I think you really need to kind of 5-slot them to make the sets worth it. I don't know, I'll have to look at the sets. I haven't really been playing around with looking at the defensive sets too much since the scrapper sets are offensive. I've been thinking more about that for which one I want to do. Alright, so here we are in Atlas Park, and we're going to this office to see which warehouse we're going to have to investigate. And the picture's hanging perfectly straight. The vacuum marks on the carpet line up exactly. Mathematic precision. Okay, so these got to be fakers again. Yep, automatons. Nembots. Yeah, unfortunately the Nembots are significantly less challenging than equivalent minions. I don't know why. Of course, they make a liar out of me and hit me like 5 times. But realistically, they tend not to be very challenging, and it's actually more challenging to fight, you know, snipers and stuff. But I guess they're supposed to be kind of like stupid and ineffectual and just there to help Nemesis trick people into letting him take over the world, I guess. Hello, Nembots. Down you go. Got all 3 of them. Sweet. Look how fast I'm even taking down red minions, guys. Now these are Nembots. They're not like even full Nemesis, but still. And imagine how much faster I'll take things down once we have all the sets. We don't even have most of our set bonuses and stuff yet. And I'm trying to avoid that because I don't want to make the game just stupidly easy. You know, except for Circle of Thorns and the elite bosses, the game is already super easy. Come on. Thought I clicked that. Guess not. So we gotta defeat the squad leader and his men. Or his bots, I guess. Yeah, you guys just don't have what it takes to defeat me. Yeah, so guys, if we go back to the original days of this game, the days when it had just launched, it was only a few months old. If we go back to that time period, this set of missions would be the end, right? It only went to level 40. This would be the final set of story arcs that they originally put into the game. Now they already had the level 41 to 50 content on the drawing board. I think, heck, it was maybe even an alpha before this launched. Oh, that was a mistake. I didn't realize it was a lieutenant because I'm used to fighting red minions. So this stuff was in the drawing board or more advanced stages. The level 41 plus content. But when the game went live, this was the max content you could ever see. Where's the minion? I don't see him. Okay. So this would be like, pretty much, unless Colleen Nelson decides to give me a story arc, this is the last Contact whose story arcs we were doing. If this was when the game launched, this would be like our last story arc. And you can see we're getting close to level 40. Now, they didn't have anywhere near as many story arcs in the game as we've seen when it first launched. They've added bunches of story arcs. Fault Line, all those story arcs have been added. Striga Island wasn't there. Krotoa wasn't there. We haven't even seen that. The Hollows wasn't there. We haven't even seen that. And I believe, so I think it was somewhere on the order of September. So this game came out in April, and I believe it was somewhere in the order of late August or early September when the first issue 1 came out, I believe, and then issue 2 came out like in January or something. And that issue 1 was, I believe, where they added capes, and it was also where they raised the level cap to 50. There was no endgame content except the Hamadon before that publish, and even after the publish there was level 41 to 50 content, but there was no level 50 endgame content initially, right? You got to level 50 and that was it. And then I think it was an issue or 2 later they added Keldians, and the level 50 content was experience level 1 to 50 content again on a different archetype that's a prestige class. But for a long time, other than Hamadon raids, which were level 40 repeatable raids, right, like level 40 dailies basically, there was no endgame content, like, at all. And then after City of Villains came out, they started, oh boy, I'm gonna have to fight people down here too. They started doing more and more stuff that could be considered endgame content. But it took them a long time to develop that. And I think part of the issue that they had was they didn't expect people to level as fast as they did. I mean, I played the game probably pretty hardcore, and I suspect probably about the way they expected you to play the game, which was I made up a few alts, but I stuck to mainly one character. I did my story arcs. I did my missions. I teamed with group members. I got killed occasionally. And by the point when issue 1 came out and the level 51 content came out, I think I was around this level. I was around 37 or 38. So I leveled about the speed I think that they expected people to level. But so many people, I mean, I was one of the last members of my supergroup to get to level 50. I was certainly not the first to get to 40. I was sort of in the middle of the pack, but toward the back end, kind of. I really don't fly through the content. I don't try to like level as fast as I can or anything like that. And I mean, you had people who were level 40 the day after the game launched. You had people who were level 40 within a week or a month. So the game comes out in April 27th or something, 29th, and like by June 1st, certainly by 4th of July, everybody's like, we're bored, right? I made up 2 characters, I got them both to level 40, where's the rest of the content? right? So they put out the level 41 to 50 content, and that shut everybody up for a few months max. Some people it only shut up for a few weeks, even a few days. They got to level 50, and then they're like, now we're bored again, right? And all they had to do, was Hamadon raids. That's it. Now again, eventually, they added more content, but initially they did not have it. And so who's shooting me? So it's just, what a difference, right? Back then you only played the game for this, for the story arcs, for the journey. That's all you could play it for, right? Now a lot of people are playing the game for the end game content explicitly, right? Content that didn't exist when I started playing this game. It didn't exist for most of the time I played the game. I mean, literally end game content was make up a Chaldean and play the game again, play all the missions you already played, with a few added Chaldean missions. I think there was one story arc per 5-level range, right? So you'd get, like, instead of getting 5 contacts for 5 levels, you'd get a 6th contact, and that contact would do Chaldean stories with you. I hear a glowy. And that is Thompson, the leader, I guess, of the squad. Just come out here and kick his butt. And that was a mistake. Because now I gotta find him. Where'd he go? Oh, he's trying to find, he's running that way to find me. Oh, he's a sniper. Did he shoot at me from all that way? Nah, if he was a sniper, he wouldn't have shot me from back there. He wouldn't have run up to me. He would have just kept shooting me. Alright, you're done. Yeah, he's a regular lieutenant, or he wouldn't have buffed her. So yeah, it was it was really very different. Like you couldn't play. Where's the glowy? You couldn't play for the endgame content because there wasn't any. And so that's one of the reasons I have such a different mentality from people who started the game when there was endgame content. Because now they're playing to get the character to 50 so then the quote-unquote they can start playing it. Whereas I view 50 as the end of the character because for all the years I was playing it, it was effectively the end of your character. All you could do was Hamadon raids, right? Alright, so let's see. Didn't get any enhancements that time either, but we've got tons of salvage. So we're going to contact our contact, and he says, the shipping note you found looks like it's in the same cipher that Lisa Colbert broke earlier. I guess the Nemesis army hasn't had time to update their codes. I'll get it deciphered. It seems pretty likely that the shipment came from the same warehouse that's housing Nemesis' new prototype. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that. We're going to stop here, and we'll pick up this story arc in the near future.